In the garden of good vibes we gather round, sipping our wisdom, let the joy surround. From mindfulness to self-care, we're on a journey, navigating life with love and serenity. Sips of Eden, lift your spirits high, soothe your soul, let your worries fly. Sips of Eden, taste the sweet divine. Find your balance, let your light shine.
So it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, current events going on.
Yes. So right now there's a lot of controversy over this Super Bowl He Gets Us commercial. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I would stop this video or podcast if you're listening to it. Go over to YouTube, search up He Gets Us commercial Super Bowl. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. It's top one. I can kind of describe what it is to you right now. It's a bunch of depictions of individuals in different social constructs and situations, washing feet, essentially, like as in the religious, I wouldn't say like religious things that happen in the Bible, right? Where Jesus washed his disciples' feet. That's where it's coming from. And so, yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on around it.
Where should we even start?
I guess I'm gonna preface with this. Our message for this statement or this video that we're making, or podcast that we're making, isn't to necessarily persuade you in any formal way. It's just to kind of share our thoughts on the matter and the primary focus of the video. There's other stems of the video that are reaching out about funding and where funds should have gone. I guess I really don't want to address that. Just mostly focusing on the video and commercial at face value, just like as I was watching the Super Bowl the other night and how I felt about it. I guess that makes sense to you.
100%.
Yeah.
As you were saying, the thing about where funds go and stuff like that, I mean, I'm going to say a hot take. I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial, but it's like watching people's pockets, right? Like you can watch your neighbor as he spends and you can judge every single thing he does.
Mm-hmm.
You could have spent that money elsewhere, but they saw value right now in trying to spread this message.
Sure.
The message baseline is that we should love everyone.
Yeah.
And as we were talking, people say, oh, where did that money come from?
Mm-hmm.
But if the message spread is positive,
mm-hmm.
does it truly matter where?
I would have to agree with that. I said this to somebody else today. If an evil man or the evilest person in the world give me $1 million and I took that $1 million and built an orphanage, is that orphanage inherently evil? And are people going to question the intentions of that orphanage? It's like, no, I just want to give an orphan a home to be able to work in that way, right? And so I feel like if we kind of just do that same thing with this video, like understand, like, okay, the funds may have came from a negative place, and it wouldn't even be a negative place. I mean,
it's one of those things where if the organization, because I haven't dived deep too much into where the hands were, but I saw what people were saying.
Yeah.
I saw the connections that they were making. If those organizations now have recognized the public perception that they have, and they now see that maybe they can change that public perception by putting their dollars to work,
mm-hmm.
by spreading a positive message, could that not mean that the organization might be changing its ways or how it looks at things?
I would have to say that would mean growth. I mean, that's like, if you, again, coming back in this also another perspective, if you like say something mean back when you're in your 20s or even your teens, does that inherently mean what you mean when you're 30 or 20, right? Like you said this thing back when you were 20, do you still mean that when you're 30? Well, no.
Right. Could have grown, learned more.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
So that's a quick little preface for this video. I don't know if that was too much for anybody already. We're sorry, but this is kind of our raw thoughts about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, again, it's like I can see the positive message that was trying to be pushed.
Yeah.
I received the positive message.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, love your neighbor
mm-hmm.
the same way I'd love my friends,
for sure.
my family, and myself.
Yeah.
And so even if a person does not like me, should I just not like them now? And also another narrative that we're getting from this and seeing other people's social media is if a person is not living a lifestyle that I necessarily agree with,
mm-hmm.
does that mean I should shun them and not show them love?
It's like, yeah, you should. I mean, if you believe, I believe this way, and this person's not doing what I think they believe they should be doing, I'm not even gonna be with them. It's to the birds, right? No, I feel like what this is trying to kind of articulate here, right? It's the terms of washing feet, which again, we don't have to take it at face value, but also the meaning behind washing a feet is just providing a service or showing love or meeting that person where they're at. And so all of these situations, from the individual, the policeman and the black individual in an alleyway, right? We have so much hate between the police community and the black community, right? And rightfully so. Like, there's some instances where police brutality is completely taken over the situation, where this commercial can kind of cut through that and understand, like, hey, we're here to serve you, we're here to help you. And it could still be vice versa, right? If to the community back to the policeman, it can, like, either way would still work. But hey, I'm going to show you love in this instance because it's not being shown.
Another thing, I mean, taking that and running with it, it's like they're showing multiple different scenarios. It's not just one person. Like, it's not just the priest at the end going and washing people's feet. It's the individuals, everybody who's affected. All of us can be any of these people.
Correct.
All of us can start to wash our neighbor's feet. All of us could need that help from someone.
Right.
Where is the disconnect?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty simple in all these situations. It seems like not necessarily in a low or in a bad situation. Like, hey, let me just help you out. Like, even if it's just, again, like you said, your family member, your brother, hey, I love you, man. Like, what? Or even your friend. Like, what can I do to help you out? Where can I meet you where you're at to be able to assist you in whatever you need to do? Right?
And a lot of the times, I mean, say if somebody is in a negative situation, right? Maybe they're dealing with some very bad things and they're in a negative spot. And now they're doing things that you don't necessarily agree with. And maybe it's unaligned from a path of righteousness. Given that, they might really need you in that moment to show them compassion. Because right now what they're experiencing is the whole world turning away from them.
Correct.
And so the only thing they're going to do is react to that.
For sure.
And so if we don't show these people and pour into these people or do things for them as they're in this moment of need, you're going to create more situations around where they now are impacting others and bringing them down.
100%. I mean, I think it kind of stems from, again, this comment that I always say to anybody. And it says, you are the suicide hotline, right? Being able to smile at that person, or even try to relate with that person during that moment in time, or just being there for somebody. That could be the moment where it's a deciding factor between an individual saying, all right, I'm done, or saying, thank you for showing me love today. I really needed that. And another situation on here is like a individual washing another individual's feet next to the family planning clinic, right? And that can mean a whole bunch of different things. And that's like one of the more heavier ones on here. And I really think that no matter what happened in the situation, showing love to an individual that is in a tough spot, obviously they're in a tough spot because they're here, right? Like, what am I going to do about this child? What are the paths for me? No matter what paths happen or what they end up doing in result of this, showing them love and like, hey, like, what can I do to help you? Like, taking them out to coffee and just chatting with them and meeting them where they're at. And meeting and letting them listen to the struggle without trying to convert them, or like mention your ideologies. Maybe they just need to talk to somebody who really cares, right? Again, I live over by an old family planning clinic where when I would pull out or drive by, it would just be people just chatting their stuff and yelling at this thing. I'm like, that's no way to do anything. Like, no matter what side of the fence you're on, like, let's just, hey, like, what spot are you in? How can we be a service to you? I think it shows a lot more love than just going out and picketing out of their place, their establishment, really.
100%.
For sure.
A lot of the times I've recognized that when people are in a situation and they can't really see a way out, maybe they just did not actually know of what resources are available to them to make it.
Sure.
Right? And so if you're a person who's like, oh, there's resources for you, you could be showing them love by directing them to those resources and giving them your ear so they know they have someone that's listening to them. And then as they're being heard, they're more likely to listen to your advice.
Right. I 100% agree. Like taking that initiative, like meeting them where they're at, whether it's you literally wash their feet, take them out to dinner, take them out to coffee, obviously respecting the boundaries of what was set between stranger and friend. Showing love to people that are outside of your social construct and or may not have the same quote unquote belief system that you have, I guess.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel this kind of relates to a conversation that I had with a gentleman a couple weeks back, but he was talking about his nonprofit that he built and his goal with it. He realized that you can, in order to really end, like, say, let's poverty, right? In poverty, it's not making people step up to this newfound mindset of, oh, you can get a job, do all these things, whatever, you pay your bills, etc. It's stepping down. If you are up here, you feel you're up here, and these people are living a life that you don't agree with, you don't have to say, come up here. You have to come and meet them where they're at and show them the way. And that's what this is showing.
Yeah, that's a beautiful description of it. I like that. I like it a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the point of this commercial was just to, hey, let's just love. I get the tagline at the end is like Jesus, like I get that. And maybe if we can just kind of put that tagline down and look at the commercial as it is love, right? Even love that neighbor, love that neighbor. Jesus didn't hate. Okay. Gandhi didn't hate, right? We shouldn't hate. Like it's just the general concern, like the general consensus of that. So even if you fill in Jesus with blank, your name, Emmitt shouldn't hate, Tyler shouldn't hate. I feel like that will make this, I guess, almost situation / commercial way better.
Potentially. I mean, it's one of those interesting things because it's like they could have had a you or like your name or blank. But do you think it would have hit the same?
No, because they would have been like, why are these people washing feet? Because it's straight, we're using the connection from like Jesus washing feet. So it wouldn't, it probably wouldn't hit the same.
And it also, I mean, it probably also wouldn't have had the same emotional reactions from people. But also what I'm recognizing, seeing the emotional reactions, is that's a moment that we all need to self-reflect on. Because if you were a person who took offense to that and now you are hating, you are not as Jesus was, and you are not doing as the message is saying, to love.
Right.
And so, I mean, even just hating the people who made the message in general is not loving.
Right. It's I guess I'm gonna ask a real question here.
Oh yeah.
A real question. So in that description, so you're gonna try to love the people that made this message. What if these people feel like they hate these people back? Again, if I guess this makes sense. I want, like you said, you should try to love the people, love the people that even made this message, and this underlying concern of that these people that made this message hate them. Like, what do we say about that?
So can you maybe?
Yeah, I'm gonna explain one more time. So, like, the people that made this commercial, some people, I wouldn't say the other people that made this commercial, again, are supporting like
the funds.
the funds, those people that, exactly, or quote unquote like, so, you know, they support anti LGBTQ plus rights, and so they feel like these people hate me, so why would I love them? I guess where does that?
Because now I see it as they're voting with their dollars, saying that this message is better. This message of love is worth my dollars, and I'm telling you, the people that think I hate you, that I love you.
Right.
And that's what I see.
Exactly. No, I mean, totally get it.
That's how I see it. I mean, I could be wrong. They could have just been like, hey, let's throw a message of love out there and not actually love people.
Right. That's not for us to decide, though, at that point. I mean, it's just saying, hey, I was just spitting 2 cents there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, though? I mean, do you think that, because again, I'd say individuals, we put money on such a pedestal. You vote for what matters with your dollars. So if you want to become a business owner, you might put the funds behind education to become that person or whatever it matters to you. If you want to become fit, you might get a gym membership. You're going to vote with your dollars towards the things that matter to you. These people put their dollars towards this campaign, and the campaign's message is love. I see that that is what matters to them most, and maybe they're trying to change the narrative.
That makes sense to me. I mean, I'm not certainly going to spend something that I don't care about.
Right.
I'm not gonna.
This is a bill of taxation or something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not gonna go buy something that I'm not using or have a passion for. Right. So. No, I mean that makes sense.
I don't know. Some sips of Eden.
Some sips of Eden. I feel like I deserve some sips. Cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
Thanks for sitting and chatting with us today. Again, we hope that we didn't offend anybody or ruffle any feathers. We're just trying to talk about this commercial that we saw and kind of dive into our own beliefs and own narratives of how we think this commercial is portrayed. So thank you for joining us today, and stay tuned for the next one.
Spread some love out there.
Spread some love.
Enough good vibes, we gather around, sipping our wisdom, let the joy surround. From mindfulness to self-care, we're on a journey, navigating life with love and serenity. Sips of Eden, let your spirit side.